like when I started to work with smaller businesses, owners will have no idea on exit strategy, exit planning. They never had formal appraisals done on their businesses. They didn't even understand how to drive and increase the valuation. Just that whole process, because you can't run. No founder can run their business forever. And when you're in the VC space, we understand that. We plan for that. But a lot of whether you are a digital agency owner of a digital marketing company or you own a restaurant, some of these owners think they're going to run their businesses forever, and that's just mortality is real as
Yeah,
humans, and it's
unfortunately.
also real. It's also real for businesses. So what I try to do is I build my advisory consultancy just centered around maximizing the value of their businesses. So when they're ready to exit, they can exit successfully, happily, and on their own terms.
Okay. So you do the business valuation side. Um, is that so you can get an opportunity to help them increase the value of the business? Is that
So
the
I
end
do
goal?
the end goal is to really work with work with work with them later down the line as far as executing their exit strategy in the planning. But it has to happen but the first step is they have to have that education and awareness on what is their business worth right now as of today. And if they want to work with me ongoing, we can build the valuation of the business. That's not difficult. It does take time because you now have to shift your mindset, and you got to think of your business as an investment now versus a lifestyle business, right? Where a lot of owners, they look at it as lifestyle businesses versus we have to get this to high growth, high performance. And you will have some entrepreneurs where they don't know if they're ready to like exit in terms of sale, and it's like that's okay. We can do like a buy and build strategy where this is where you acquire other existing businesses. Now you get bigger, but you fire yourself as the CEO and you hire an operating CEO. So there's all of these nuances that you can do. When people talk about exit strategy, exit planning, they automatically think retirement, and that's not always the case. There are so many exit options that entrepreneurs and founders and owners can look into. I'm just a guy to provide that awareness, education, and then we can talk to each other to figure out how we can explore those opportunities.
Right. This conversation is starting to sound very familiar. About 2 hours ago, I had this same conversation with a business owner who was reluctant to grow his business. And I said, well, if you're burnt out, let's just sell it. Right. Now that we have a $9 million offer, and the first $9 million offer got a second $9 million offer, he's thinking, holy crap, maybe I should take this a little more seriously. And now we started having conversations about, franchising it and taking it to $100 million, but that doesn't solve the first problem. The first problem is he wants to sell it to get rid of the partner. So
Mm.
that's a strategy. So how did you get into this space? How long have you been in this space?
So I actually just recently got into this space as of late last year. It was just something that I wanted. Valuation is just something that's unknown to most small business owners, right? And when I see what I've saw from other entrepreneurs is that when I saw the data, and it didn't hit me until I started to study exit planning as I was getting the education. But when you come from a VC, private equity like background, M&A, it's kind of like a lot of this is second nature to me. But when you start talking about helping entrepreneurs exit, you then realize, wait a minute, there's a lot of entrepreneurs and there's a lot of business owners that cannot exit, not even at their price, like their
They can't
desired
even take a
price.
holiday, never mind exit.
Right. So, so it's like we
They
kind of
can't
have a
have a
big
weekend
problem.
off or take a week off to go to the cottage.
No, they can't. No, they can't. Most entrepreneurs, and I see so many, I see so many programs, and we have to be, as a society, we have to take ownership into this romanticism of entrepreneurship, because we have glorified launching businesses, which is fine. We've glorified scaling businesses, okay, but it's just income. We haven't we haven't really glorified the importance of, hey, actually making your business an asset. This is an investment. It's the largest. 80% of your net worth is tied into this business. And when I talk to most owners, they don't own any other assets. There's no properties, there's no stocks, there's no ownership in arts. They don't have equities in other businesses. It's just that business. And
Right.
so it's like, well, you do understand that if you can't sell, like if you cannot sell your business, you will not have money for retirement. Forget about generational wealth. You don't even have enough funds for lifetime wealth.
Hmm. Yeah, very true.
Those are hard. Those are hard conversations to have, but it's just because in the VC world, you see the exits, you see the $1 billion exits, you see the $1 billion valuations, you see. So as VCs, we're all trained to not only spot the market opportunities, but we're also trained on how to actually build. How do we build these high growth startups? How do we get them to blitz scale? Because they're on the time frame. We want our money back within the next 5 years. But then at the same time, it's like, okay, what's their exit strategy? If they say, hey, we want to be acquired by Amazon or we want to be acquired by Facebook, we try to figure out how we can pull our relationships and our connections, get them introduced to people over at those companies so they can get that acquisition going, so they can be acquired, or so they can potentially go public. So it's like those conversations are always ongoing, but in the other small business space, those no one is really having those conversations, and that's
Hmm.
kind of where I started.
Okay, so how do you
Started
start those conversations? How are you getting clients? Where do you find your clients, or where do your clients find you?
a lot of it. A lot of it comes from client acquisition. My client acquisition sources come from a few different ways, from LinkedIn, from Chamber of Commerce, and a lot of the people who run these Chamber of Commerce events, they'll tell me straight up. They said, Chris, we have resources to help people launch businesses and potentially, get them funded and grow their businesses. But when it comes to exit and like maximizing that value and try to take things to that next level, no one has any expertise on that. So I've been partnering with Chamber of Commerce with there. And then I've also just been kind of just creating. I came from the marketing space, so when it comes to creating thought leadership, that's second nature, because that's part of that education. It's like sometimes people just they don't know what they don't know, they're not aware. So I would create content, and people would just reach out and just have conversations, because I would bring things to their attention that they never thought about. Most owners, they what they have done is, if you remember Robert Kiyosaki's, like cash flow quadrant, a
Hmm.
lot of people are just they're self-employed, right? So
Yeah,
they're not in the B
or they bought
category,
themselves a
or they're not
job.
in the right, right, yeah, or they're not in the I category, and so they're really in that S category. And when you're self-employed, you've either created a job or you bought yourself a job, because now everyone wants to buy existing businesses, and it's like, okay, you now you do realize, have you thought about exit? They're like, no, I just wanted to run this franchise. And it's like, you got to start thinking long term, man. You got to start thinking long term. So that's kind of how I just been getting clients. And because I'm still kind of building my brand, it's it's going to take some time, obviously, because these are not easy conversations to have, and it makes people mildly uncomfortable. I expect that. I get that. But when we have conversations, when I kind of discuss some of the options that they can look into, they start to look at their businesses from a different light.
Okay. Have you tried Facebook groups?
I recently discovered Facebook groups in terms of just kind of identifying the different, which groups that would make the most sense. So that's a newer approach that I just started as of maybe like last week.
Okay. Um, okay, so you and I are facing the same problems, and we are after the same type of clientele, business owners. I focus more on construction business owners.
Oh, okay.
So, and that's why I was looking at the evaluation side. Um, so we tend to focus on redesigning businesses in terms from a branding differentiation perspective, because a lot of these people are, never even consider branding or quality of life or lifestyle or anything like that. And that's what we try and help them. Um, so I'm thinking there's a lot of overlap and probably quite a few ways we could be helping each other.
Yeah, I agree. Branding is one of the value drivers. It's because granted, there's like hundreds of like value drivers that actually drives the valuation of a business. Branding is one of them because it's about that market positioning. And most owners, they were never taught, because a lot of times when people launch their businesses, it's out of, I have this trade, I have this skill, I'm passionate about this area, but no one has
And
really
usually they
sat
use
them
their
down.
family name as a company name, which is probably the
Yeah,
dumbest thing anyone could ever do.
it
But
it definitely hurts. It definitely hurts because it's hard to turn that into an asset. So
yeah,
yeah, I
especially if
agree
they
with
are
you.
the business.
Yes, yes. As someone who came from the creative agency world, like the ad agencies, like media agencies, like like creative agencies, I saw very firsthand. I was like, wow, this is tough. And that's been like my niche coming out the gate, because I do come from that advertising world. I understand how creatives think. And when it comes to anything numbers, finance related, they just run the other way. And it's like, you can't do that. Like, you are the owner. You are an owner. You have to start thinking and operating like an owner.
Yes, yes, absolutely. So are you making good money right now, or what stage are you at?
Yeah, so got some been getting some nice sales trickle in. I made my first 50K. So, there's that.
Okay. And are you focusing on any particular industry, or what's your goal?
So this is kind of how I've been thinking about it, Leo. First, I wanted to, because I thought through some of the top industries that would need valuation. So I kind of went and I just did some research, and I came up with like 50 different industries based on the NAC codes. And one of the things I wanted to kind of start with was professional service business, because you hear what they say, service based businesses, like, they're hard to sell, you can't scale them. And I just found that you can't use traditional scale methods for service based businesses, but they are scalable. People are acquiring them. You can't get a nice exit and a nice return. So I wanted to kind of start off with some of those industries, and then kind of circle back, because everybody, e-commerce is sexy, right? Your software providers, like, that's that's attractive, but I wanted to kind of tackle some of the industries where I have firsthand experience, where I can actually talk to an owner. That's not to say that I can't expand out into other industries. I just like to, I just like to kind of first do my own due diligence and then kind of like reach out.
Hmm. So are you trying to specialize in e-commerce then?
China. So right now I'm specializing with your professional service firms. So your law firms, your architecture firms, your like your agencies. This includes like digital marketing, your management consulting firms. So because of I know quite a few people in those spaces, but I've been in those spaces. I also have family who own these businesses, and I've just been kind of, test driving. Like some of the things that I would learn, I would take it to them, and I would see like almost insane mindset shifts. Um, and then from there, it's okay. Now that I have professional services, what other industries? Because valuation isn't something, at least I don't look at it that way. Because of the software, because of all the licenses and the software partners that I can really evaluate any business. It's just a matter of collecting the data and just walking clients through the reports.
Okay. And do you have to enter the data manually, or does it connect with QuickBooks or software like that?
Oh, great question. So the data, so there's a few ways how clients can go about it. I have what is called, because on my valuation platform, because it's a SaaS product that I use. And what they do is I can send a smart link. Owners can enter the data in like manually. So super secure, cloud based. They can send, another option is I can send them what is called a fact finder. It's just a valuation, like it's a one sheeter asking all of the key questions of like income, assets, liabilities, business growth, a little bit more of the business background. So kind of collecting all of that data. I have a PDF form that they can fill out. They send it back to me, and I can enter it in. I can enter everything in manually, and populate the reports. The third option is, or they can delegate it to their CFOs, and their CFO can enter all of the information in, and I can kind of see, and on the back end, I can see the report being generated. I can also see, and if the clients choose to work with me long term, we can see the history of the valuation growing over time. So there's a
Okay.
lot of things you can do. I also came from the market research world, helping Fortune 500 brands grow like their brands using data. And so I'm a huge data person. So I just believe that if you're making business decisions, we need to be operating with real time, accurate data. And the traditional way of valuations, because I actually was working my way towards the traditional route until I realized, I was like, wait, the way they have done things traditionally, not only is it timely, but they used to charge 30K for an evaluation report, but by the time valuation experts finish the report, it's already outdated. The world moves way too fast.
Hmm. Okay.
And so that's why I went the valuation as a service. I went the SaaS route, so we can get you these insights a lot quicker, but also this is real time, and it's not like and the data will always live on the platform, and that also kind of opens the door to say, if you want to continue to work with me, we can help you increase the value of the business. We can do annual valuation reports, and you can watch the value of your business grow and grow and grow.
Okay. We have a hard stop in 2 minutes, and I've already have the people joined the waiting room. So I'm just trying to figure out how we can work together or help each other or exchange leads or something. Any thoughts
Yeah.
in that area?
Yeah, so what we can do is I would love to connect with you on LinkedIn as well. I know we're connected. I know we're connected on Facebook. But
Yeah.
what I can do
Not
is
LinkedIn.
uh,
Sorry, I lost my LinkedIn account 8
oh
times because of what I said earlier. We have a
uh
corrupt prime minister, and anytime that I say something
understood.
negative, I froze my bank account for a while. So yeah, we're not friends.
Got
So
it. Understood. So what we can do is I would love to first of all get to know more about like deeper your services. And as I come across different owners and founders, I just want to refer them to you. And then as you, because you've heard so much in depth, I can
well,
send
40
you
years.
additional.
Yeah, and I have at least 500 YouTube videos. So copy and paste my name to YouTube. Have a look at some of those videos. Of course, a
Okay,
lot of them are private, but think about this and schedule another meeting. Let's have another conversation.
sure. Yeah,
All right.
let's do
Nice
that.
chatting with you. We'll chat again soon.
Likewise, it was a pleasure connecting with you, Leo.
Take care. Bye.